The moon was full, and the howls echoed through Ocala like a warning only. It was too late. Something ancient, something primal was stirring in the woods. Eddie Cartwright had been told the stories all his life, but he never believed them, till the night the werewolf rose again. The moon hung low over the small town of Ocala, casting an unnatural glow on the quiet streets. It had been 50 years since anyone had heard the rumors, the old folk tales about the werewolf that roamed the woods during the full moon. But tonight, the moon was full, and the howling in the distance was all too real. Eddie Cartwright sat in his old creaky truck parked at the edge of the forest. He had been driving these roads for years, yet tonight the air felt different, felt thick, almost suffocating. The weight of the past hung on him like a noose. He glanced over at the shotgun on the passenger seat. The same shotgun his father had used. The same shotgun his grandfather had used before him. It was an heirloom, handed down from generations of men who had lived with the curse of the town. And now, it was his turn. The howling started again, closer this time. Eddie's hands clenched the steering wheel. He had heard the stories, had dismissed them as drunken tales and nightmares. But tonight something had changed. The air was colder, and the woods felt alive in a way they shouldn't. He had come here to end it. To end the curse that had plagued Ocala for generations. His family had been connected to the creature, tied to its dark history in a way that made Eddie sick to his stomach. Every full moon, a member of his family had disappeared. His father, his uncle, his cousin, each of them, had vanished without a trace. Each of them had been claimed by the beast that lurked in the shadows of the forest. Tonight, Eddie would put an end to it, one way or another. The wind shifted, and he could smell it, the unmistakable scent of wet fur, decay, and blood. Eddie's stomach lurched. It was close now, too close. The howl echoed again, but this time it was no longer a distant cry, it was a warning. The beast was hunting. Eddie had never been afraid of the dark. As a child, he had wandered the woods at night, the moon above him like a lantern. But tonight, the forest seemed to be closing in around him. The trees bent and twisted in ways that felt wrong. He could hear something moving in the underbrush, the snap of twigs and the rustling of leaves. I wasn't alone. He reached for the shotgun, his fingers cold against the worn wood of the stock. With one smooth motion, he pumped the gun, chambering around. The familiar weight of the weapon in his hands gave him a sense of comfort, but it was only temporary. No gun could stop the creature that haunted these woods. His eyes scanned the tree line, but all he could see was darkness. His breath came in shallow gasps, each exhale a cloud in the cold night air. He tightened his grip on the shotgun and stepped out of the truck, the crunch of gravel beneath his boots louder than it should have been. He moved cautiously toward the woods, every step calculated, his senses on high alert. But as he reached the edge of the trees, he stopped. There, in the clearing ahead, a shape emerged from the shadows. It was tall, almost impossibly tall, its eyes glowing an eerie yellow. Its fur was matted and black, soaked in the blood of its recent kill. The creature stood on two legs, but its posture was wrong and natural, as if it were still learning how to walk. The moonlight illuminated its grotesque face, a twisted combination of man and beast. The beast's teeth glistened, sharp and yellow, and its breath came in ragged gasps. Eddie's hand trembled on the shotgun. Stories had never prepared him for this. He had heard the legends, the tales of a creature that could tear a man apart with a single swipe of its claws. But standing here, face to face with it, he was frozen. The creature sniffed the air, its head tilting as it caught Eddie's scent. Its eyes narrowed, and then with a snarl it lunged. Eddie didn't think. He fired. The shot rang out, echoing through the trees. The creature howled in pain, but it didn't stop. Instead, it slashed at Eddie with its claws, sending him stumbling backward. The shotgun flew from his hands, landing in the mud. Eddie's heart raced. He had to run. At 2, a flash of silver streaked across the moon, and then the creature's massive form was on top of him. He screamed as claws raked across his chest, tearing through fabric and flesh. The pain was blinding. He fought back, kicking and punching, but it was useless. The creature was too strong. His vision blurred, and he felt himself losing consciousness. But then, just as quickly as it had started, the creature was gone. It vanished into the woods, disappearing into the shadows as if it had never been there. Eddie lay there, gasping for breath, his body trembling. The moon above him seemed to watch, cold and indifferent. He knew without a doubt that this wasn't the end. This was just the beginning. The next morning, Eddie woke up in his own bed. The pain in his chest was unbearable, and he could barely move. His body ached as if he had been run over by a truck. The events of the night before felt like a dream, a nightmare. But the blood on his shirt was real. The claw marks on his chest were real. And the memory of the beast standing over him was real. He sat up, feeling dizzy. The sunlight coming through the window was harsh, but it didn't bring warmth. Instead, it felt oppressive, like a spotlight shining down on him, exposing his weaknesses. His mother was standing in the doorway, her face pale with worry.
"Eddie, awake,"
she said softly, her voice trembling. "I was so scared. We thought." She stopped herself, her eyes moving to the floor. He knew what she was thinking. They all thought he was going crazy, just like his father had before him. They thought it was all in his head, but it wasn't. He had seen it. He had felt it. The beast was real. "I'm fine, Mom," Eddie said, his voice hoarse. He swung his legs over the side of the bed and stood, his knees shaking. "I need to go back to the woods." His mother's eyes widened. "No, Eddie, you can't go back there. It's dangerous." He shook his head. I have to finish this." The beast had come for him, but it wasn't done yet. It would never be done, not until he put an end to it once and for all. That night, Eddie returned to the woods. He knew the moon was rising again, and with it, the curse would return. The creature would be back, stronger, more determined. But this time, Eddie was ready. This time he would end it. He had spent the day preparing. He had found his father's old journal, the one that detailed the rituals his family had used to try and banish the creature. The book was old, its pages yellowed with age, but it was the only clue he had. He made his way to the clearing where he had faced the beast the night before. The air was thick with tension, and the trees seemed to whisper as he passed. The moon hung low, casting long shadows across the forest floor. Eddie reached the center of the clearing and stopped. He could feel it now, the presence of the creature. It was near. He set up the ritual, lighting candles and drawing strange symbols in the dirt. He didn't know if it would work, but he had to try. He had no other choice. As he chanted the words from the journal, the ground beneath him began to tremble. The wind picked up, howling through the trees. And then, from the darkness, the creature emerged. It was bigger than before, its form more monstrous. The moonlight gleamed off its blood-soaked fur. It bared its teeth. A grotesque smile stretched across its face. Eddie took a deep breath and stood his ground. He had nothing left to lose. He was going to end this. The creature lunged at him, but Eddie raised his hands, completing the final chant. The ground beneath him cracked open, and the creature let out a deafening howl as it was pulled back into the earth, its body writhing in agony. For a moment there was silence. The air was still, and the moon hung in the sky, cold and indifferent. Then, with a final sickening screech, the beast was gone. Eddie collapsed to his knees, exhausted, his body trembling. The moon began to fade, and the world returned to its natural state. The curse was over. The following morning, Oak Hollow was peaceful. The sun rose over the town, casting a warm light on the streets. The woods were still, as if the terror of the past few nights had never happened. But Eddie knew better. As he walked through the town, people waved at him, smiling as they went about their day. He had ended the curse. He'd saved them all. But as he passed the old church on the edge of town, he stopped. In the distance, he heard it. A single howl. The sound echoed through the trees, chilling Eddie to the bone. The creature was gone, but the curse wasn't. It had only been waiting for the right moment to rise again. The werewolf moon would rise again, and Eddie knew it would always be watching.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories. See you in the next adventure.